time has come for a new vision of public libraries in the United States. Communities need public libraries. More people are visiting them, using their services, materials, and programs than ever before. But communities' needs continue to change. I'm Don Berry, president of the Wichita Public Library Foundation. These words come from a study co-sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Aspen Institute, published in October of 2014. Its findings are distilled from the intense work and input from the country's brightest minds in the field of library science and community development. For those of us on a mission to bring Wichita a new advanced learning center, the Aspen report confirms that we are on the right track. We envision our 21st century library as a center of learning, innovation, and creativity. We wanted you to hear from local leaders and patrons on their belief of what this transformation from an old library to a new advanced learning center can mean for Wichita.
It's important that we understand that we have to create an infrastructure that supports the kinds of development that will drive the future of the economy, and they aren't the same things that drove the future, that drove the past. And so what we're seeing is the quality of life, access to information, the ability to come in contact with people different than yourself who bring different kinds of expertise to the table. Those are the drivers. And when you look at the notion of creating nodes where people can come together, an information center that includes a traditional library but includes a lot more is increasingly becoming part of what we call a collision space in a community, and they're very, very important. So I think that the ideas behind redoing the Wichita Library to create much more of an innovation space, a space that drives the way people can get information and use information, is really a key component of what this community needs to have and needs to be if it's going to be successful.
One thing that we do on a very frequent basis is we direct prospective business owners or people who are in business to the library to do additional research on the market or the industry that they're looking to go into. One of the reasons it's helpful to go to the library to do that, as you're conducting your research and going through all of this material, you have the benefit of someone on site who's an expert in terms of doing research, who can really help you navigate all of this information. You could do some of this research online, but it would take hours, and to really get down to what you need, it's probably more beneficial and more helpful to have someone there helping you. And again, you've got the benefit of that expert as well as all of this information that it would take quite a bit more time to navigate online, and in a lot of cases there would be an expense associated with the online searches and the information you're able to download.
In the virtual sense, for my elementary student, we have a homeroom teacher that we are accountable to, and they provide the lesson plans, but sometimes we need extra resources to go with those lesson plans, or we have novels that we choose to read from, and we need to be able to come to the public library and check out those novels. Or if there's a lesson that's being taught in writing about research and how to use a library when you're doing research and making note cards before you make a speech or a presentation, then we need to use the library for that. There's times we do use the technology just because technology has glitches, and sometimes we might have an internet or a server issue, and we can go to the public library and log on to a computer and still continue our lessons. And not everybody can afford to have technology in their house, so therefore I think the library always needs to exist as for a place where people can still and go get their information, whether it's through technology or a touchable book.
Honestly, I think books that you hold are better, because one, iPads or like Kindles or stuff, eventually they'll run out of battery. But a real life book, the only way is either tear or you lose it. That's the only way you can't use it anymore.
Really is about being a community center. It's more than just a piece of literature. For our students, particularly coming from an urban environment, having access to the internet, to that technology, to have a space that they can meet and work in small groups, to collaborate, which is a key piece of what we're trying to teach them, since that's something we hear over and over from the business community, that they need individuals that are self-learners, can adapt, and the ability to collaborate with others. Really, to me, I think about a Swiss Army knife. It's got to be able to do a little bit of everything, and it's there to meet the needs of whatever you need to do, and that's what the library is going to have to be. What it is today may not be what it needs to be 10 years from now, so having that flexibility and that design around that understanding of change is going to be very important.
We definitely are a city under transformation. I mean, if you think about what's happened with all the old town development over the last 25 years, even more recently, what's happened with the arena in our downtown, those are huge catalysts in driving us forward. And as you've noted, Project Downtown is a blueprint that's cultivating new opportunities, building upon our successes as a community. So what's driving our downtown right now, notably, is the Union Station project, which had the groundbreaking in December and will actually be in full force as we go into 2015. As you look on down Douglas, you had the recent success of Block 1, which again is the activation of an entire city block, whereas before there was only one viable use in that block, and that was the Kansas Health Foundation. Today, the Ambassador Hotel, Kansas Leadership Center, a new parking garage. Again, a great synergy that's building. Right across the street, exchange bidding. This project will be actually under development in 2015. Again, huge transformation of buildings that are both current but also infill development. As you travel on down Douglas, we're looking at what's the future, what are the opportunities as we look at our convention center, our performing arts, huge drivers as we go forward. As you go across the river, we just had this last December, the approval of the project plan for River Vista. This is so exciting because it's ground up construction. A lot of the things we've been talking about are the adaptive reuse. This is new construction coming into our core in our community. So it's 154 residential units, it's commercial, and as we get to the library site, this is such a dynamic opportunity because what this begins to do is to connect us to the museum district. It connects us to our riverfront. It connects us to Delano. It connects us into the core of our downtown. This all is part of city building. This is building upon our distinctiveness and what makes our city really attractive for not only retention but recruitment as well. The library is important because it helps us not only capture, if you will, the current opportunities, it also helps us cultivate future opportunities. And so as a city under transformation, that is a dynamic opportunity for us as a community to give really that message, not only both to our community as here locally, but also nationally, that we are about moving forward. This is dynamic. I mean, this downtown, we've seen about $300 million in investment since Project Downtown was implemented in 2010. The library is another part of that exciting chapter of moving our city forward.
But the fact is, if we're going to be successful for the future, everybody has to have the opportunity to be engaged. And you have to have those common spaces where that engagement can occur. And so having facilities like a library, particularly a modern library, I'm not talking about a place that just has book stacks. That's important and a value, but it isn't really the core value any longer of these spaces. The core value is the use of information, much of which is going to be electronic. And as you use the word, the curating of that information, all of that is really crucial if we're going to be successful, but it has to engage the whole community. The idea that we're going to have a knowledge class and they're going to be the only people who know and can access, that's really a way in which we will fail as a community. This has to be broad-based, and what we've seen from studies now that are being done on cities that are successful is that the more you engage the broader population, the more likely the metropolitan area is to be successful.
So you may be asking yourself, what can I do to help? How can I get involved? There is so much misinformation out there. So first, please become an informed advocate. Second, if you belong to a group, we would love to come and share the excitement and progress of this transformation from the old library to the new Advanced Learning Center. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.